You aren't failing because you're lazy. You're failing because your brain is literally evolved to keep you in the middle class.
Wow. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are getting into some heavy, intense psychology today.
Yeah, we really are.
We pulled this absolutely fascinating interview from a source called The Wealth Blueprint. It features this brilliant behavioral economist, and I gotta say, it is an intellectual intervention. We are unpacking exactly why our own biology treats financial growth like a literal life-threatening danger.
It's a brutal reality to confront, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, the traditional narrative we always hear is that if you aren't wealthy, you just aren't working hard enough, right?
Right, the whole hustle culture thing, just grind harder.
Exactly. We assume it's just a discipline issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the behavioral economics laid out in this source material, they point to something far more insidious. Our brains are not designed to be wealth-building machines.
No, they're survival machines.
Right. They're survival machines. And for the vast majority of human history, survival meant one thing above all else, which was fitting in.
So let's look at the actual history of this, what they call the social safety instinct. The interview points out that for roughly, I think, 200,000 years, human survival depended entirely on the tribe.
Entirely. The absolute worst thing you could possibly do on the prehistoric savannah was to stand out.
Because standing out made you a target.
Exactly. If you took risks or if you acted differently from the group, the result wasn't just that people gossiped about you around the fire.
Right.
The result was exile. And in that ancestral environment, exile literally meant death. You would die from starvation or a predator. You just could not survive alone.
Wow. So the stakes were literal life and death.
Yes. So the human brain developed this incredibly powerful, hardwired neurological mechanism to ensure you stay firmly in the middle of the pack. It's a survival imperative.
And this ancient survival hardware, it hasn't changed, right? Even though our environment has completely transformed.
Not one bit. I mean, the amygdala, which is the brain's threat detection center, it's still running the exact same software it was running 50,000 years ago.
So when you start talking about financial growth today, what does that actually require?
Well, it requires taking risks. It requires doing things your peers aren't doing. You have to go against the grain.
Yeah, which is exactly what the brain hates.
Right. When you do those things, your nervous system doesn't look at it and say, oh, look, an opportunity for financial freedom. It sees a threat of tribal exile.
That is wild. It equates investing or starting a business with being kicked out of the cave.
Yes. And it physically responds. It floods your body with cortisol, the stress hormone. Your brain is literally trying to save your life by making you feel so anxious that you back down and conform.
It's like, okay, think of it like we're running a Pleistocene-era piece of survival hardware inside a modern capitalist operating system.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. The hardware is flawlessly executing a program that used to save our lives from saber-toothed tigers, but in today's economy, that exact same program is just keeping us broke. It's an evolutionary glitch.
It's a massive glitch. And what happens when that outdated hardware hits modern capitalism? It crashes. This biological drive to be, average is the ultimate safety mechanism for the primitive brain.
We casually call it fitting in.
Yeah, call it fitting in. But in the context of your bank account, this instinct functions as a huge invisible penalty. The behavioral economist in the interview coins this brilliant term for it: the middle-class mindset tax.
The middle-class mindset tax. Okay, so this is the literal financial price you pay to remain invisible, right? To remain average and safe.
Yes.
But how is this tax actually collected from us day to day? Like, what does this look like in real life?
Well, it's collected most aggressively through a psychological mechanism called hedonic adaptation. And the interview gives a super relatable example of this.
Oh, the promotion example.
Yeah. Let's say you get a promotion at work. You've been grinding for years. You finally get that bump in pay. And almost immediately, what happens?
You go out and upgrade your car.
Exactly. You lease the luxury SUV.
Which, by the way, if you're listening to this right now in your newly upgraded car, you might be feeling a little defensive. I know I am.
Oh, it hits close to home for everyone.
It really does. But let's look at the math behind why we actually sign that lease. Because you don't upgrade the car because the old one stopped working.
No, of course not.
You upgrade it because your tribe, which today means your coworkers, your neighbors, your extended family, they now expect a certain standard of living from someone at your new income level.
Right. And if you don't upgrade, you start to feel this subtle but really profound social pressure. Your brain signals that you are failing to signal your new status to the tribe.
And that triggers the ancient anxiety.
Exactly. So you buy the car to relieve the stress. but you aren't actually improving your net worth, You're just running faster on a treadmill.
You're actively trading your future financial freedom for current social status.
Yes, you're paying the mindset tax to keep your tribal rank intact, just to avoid standing out as an anomaly.
Okay, wait, I have to push back here a little bit.
Sure.
Because I don't buy that entirely. Look, I bought a really expensive high-end mattress last year, and I didn't buy it to show off to my tribe. I bought it because my back hurt, and I genuinely wanted a better quality of life. Isn't some of this lifestyle inflation just the simple joy of having nice things?
Okay, but a mattress is private.
What do you mean?
I mean, you don't park your mattress in your driveway for the neighbors to see, right?
Well, no. Fair point.
The mindset tax applies specifically to outward-facing consumption. Think about it. If you were the only person on Earth, would you go into 72 months of high-interest debt for the leather seats and the luxury badge on the grill of a car?
Probably not, no.
Right? The Economist in our source material is really aggressive about this distinction. The root driver of lifestyle inflation is the terror of being less than your peers. It's the fear of losing your place in the hierarchy.
Wow.
Because the joy of those leather seats, that fades in about 3 weeks. That's the neurochemical reality of hedonic adaptation. Your dopamine baseline just resets.
So what's left after the dopamine fades?
What remains is the alleviation of that deep-seated social anxiety.
Yeah.
You bought the car to fit the avatar of the tribe.
Man, I'm suddenly rethinking the $1,000 espresso machine I bought last week and placed very prominently on my kitchen counter to impress my in-laws.
Yeah, that's a tax in action.
But the most terrifying part of this deep dive is realizing that we aren't the only ones who know this, right? The banks and the massive corporations, they know exactly how our biology operates.
Oh, they know it far better than the average consumer does.
They literally weaponize our need for tribal approval.
Absolutely. Because corporations are not selling you products. They are selling you tribal approval.
Yes.
I mean, think about luxury brands or high-end car manufacturers or luxury real estate developers. Their marketing departments are essentially applied evolutionary psychologists.
That's such a dark way to look at it, but it's so true. They don't sell the technical specifications of a watch.
No, they manufacture insecurity. They craft these elaborate campaigns designed to make you feel that without their product, your social standing is in jeopardy.
It's a manufactured crisis. They deliberately trigger your survival instinct, so you just hand over your future wealth to fix a social problem that doesn't actually exist.
And because your brain equates social standing with survival, you will gladly swipe your card or sign that loan agreement.
Right, because you feel like you have to.
Yeah. You think you're buying a feeling of safety, but ironically, you are putting yourself in financial danger to get it.
Okay, so if the brain punishes us this severely just for trying to stand out, what happens when someone actually beats the system? Does the brain finally relax when you hit a high net worth, or does it freak out even more?
Oh, it completely freaks out. And this is where the psychology gets very, very dark.
Darker than weaponized espresso machines.
A lot darker. So we're all familiar with the concept of the glass ceiling, right? The external systemic barriers that prevent people from rising.
Yeah, of course.
Well, The Economist introduces this concept of the psychological ceiling. And this is a purely internal mechanism.
We are going to leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over. If true financial safety requires you to become an outsider to your current tribe, what exactly does the new tribe of the financially unassailable look like? And are you mentally prepared for the isolation it will take to find them?